back with another 900 video. This one of the finishing videos on the manual swap for this car. The last video you guys saw on this car, we put some 3 spokes on it. So go check that out in the top corner if you haven't already. But shortly before that was part 10 of the manual swap, where we took the car for its first drive and just kind of shook it down, see what was wrong with it before I started to put the interior back together. This car still has a lot of issues, do not get me wrong. It has a few vacuum leaks. I think it still has a minor oil leak and a couple other little things that still need to be looked at under the hood. But interior wise, there are 2 major things that I need to fix before the interior can go completely back together. One of those things is the reverse light. So because this whole manual gear selector is different than the automatic one, the reverse light switch is actually obviously completely different as well. So we've got to do that. I actually already did that, and you guys will see that here in a second. It was a lot of trial and error, just kind of putting wires together. I do have the Bentley manual, but I can't read a wiring diagram, so it wasn't much help to me there. The second thing, and this is the one that still hasn't been done yet and honestly may not be done in this video, and that is sorting out my speedometer issue. So I'm currently waiting on a new speedometer cable, hoping that that will solve the issue. If not, I have leads on a good gauge cluster that will work. So we're gonna be TBD on that. Because I still need to do some work up here, I don't really want to put the dashboard, put the instrument panel back in, and put the interior 100% back together, even though the speedo cable can be swapped without having to pull that all apart. In case it is a gauge cluster issue, I just don't want to have to take stuff back apart just for the sake of doing it. That's kind of my rationale there. But first thing we're going to be doing is doing the reverse lights. Then we're going to have to pull the seats back out that we had used in the first drive. And then over here are some of the interior parts that are definitely going to go back in together. So for example, we have this HVAC ducting here. We have a bunch of hardware for all these parts here. These are the trims that go along the sills down here. On top of that, in the trunk here, I have the carpet and all the floor mats, which will go back in too. This piece on the right here is another HVAC piece. And then this is obviously the center console with all that fun stuff in there. And there's this little green thing I gotta put in that goes right behind the ignition. Without further ado, let's get into it, guys, and get this thing looking a little bit less ratty.
Flashback.
First job I'm tackling here is getting my reverse lights to work. So you might have noticed when we took the first drive in this car, and when I was backing out of the driveway, the reverse lights didn't work. And that's because there's a little switch that goes into the side of the gear lever housing in here. It looks just like this. I went ahead and ordered this off of eBay. Thankfully, it was only like 25 bucks. You can see there's a little screw hole in the side of the gear lever housing here where this switch just screws into. There's a bunch of random wires in here. This is obviously an automatic part that I had to keep connected so I could drive the car in the time being. There's a picture in the Bentley manual I'll put on the screen here showing roughly what 2 wires you need, but it's black and white. So honestly, I tried every possible combination I couldn't. There was even one where it tried to start the car. But I was just testing every wire combination, hitting record on the phone in the back and just pressing the button to see if it works. And this one finally works. So it's white. The singular white one was plugged into here, and then white and white striped with blue. So that combination worked. So now is the moment of truth. Let's go ahead and screw it into the housing here and make sure it works when I actually put the car in reverse. With the seats in, it's a little bit awkward filming right here, but it's tightened in right there. It's just a 19 mil, so you can get a wrench on there, tighten it down, and plug in the wires. So I'm gonna go ahead and put electrical tape over all these loose ones. I started the car to make sure it would work with obviously this all unplugged, because this is again for the automatic. So all the stuff that plugged into here is gonna get electrical tape over it and probably just zip tied somewhere. But moment of truth, let's make sure reverse lights work. It worked. I'm genuinely so happy about that. It's one of those little things about this job that I was scared to kind of tackle myself, not knowing a thing about wiring or anything, but oh my gosh, guys, I'm so excited. That was the last thing that needed to be done right down here. So let's move forward, get all of this stuff back together, because I'm tired of driving it. I've only driven it a couple times, but I'm tired of driving it and looking at it like this, because I mean, this is horrible to look at.
End of flashback.
There's this rubber boot down here that is honestly quite a pain to sort out, but I just got it sorted in there 100%. There's a very small lip that has to fit over. You can see going through all the gears, it's moving as it should. It's not coming undone. Went on a little bit of a cleaning spree, if you can really call it that. The windows in this car had fingerprints and grease and stuff all over them just from the swap and everything. So I cleaned every single window inside and out, and they look a million times better. Even these side ones were absolutely filthy. The windshield was really bad though. I also went ahead and vacuumed all the carpet again because some debris had gotten back in there. And that's about it. So next thing we got to do is I'm trying to be very conscious to make sure I'm not accidentally burying any wiring harnesses like under the carpet or pieces I'm putting back in. Next thing we've got to do here is go ahead and reinstall this center console piece. Honestly, this has taken me about 2 hours of work, if that. I'd say this has been a very, very productive day. I went ahead and also my clutch pedal cover fell off during the first drive, so I put that back on, something I've been procrastinating on. Really, the rest of this, I think, is gonna have to wait, mostly because if you come in here, you'll see there's a big plastic piece that goes right here. There's the lower dashboard cover, the big tan piece. There's the actual dashboard, and there's the instrument panel. There's a couple other small things here and there, but those are all the big ones that are left, and I think they're all gonna have to wait for the time being. Floor mats are back in. I'm not gonna feel gross driving this car anymore because it's actually got a carpet. It's actually got, you know, all of this done as well, so that's pretty sweet. I think the video is going to end here, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the driver's seat back in real quick, but I think I might do a separate video sorting out the speedometer, and then also hopefully sorting out getting the rest of this back together so it looks like an actual car. So, you know, it might not look a ton different. To me, it looks a whole lot different because everything down here is done. I have this back in, all this stuff plugged back up. So that feels good. Getting rid of more parts, more masking tape that has labels on it, which always feels good. Thank you guys all so much for watching though, and I'll see you next time.